started at zero. I feel like the voice of the young niggas, I be the hero. Golden child on the gift of the ghetto. Took me out the street, but the streets I can't let go. I got money, so now I gotta say so.
What is up, y'all? My name is Jay the Prodigy, and today I'm here to give y'all the credit rundown so that y'all have the tools to run it up. So without further ado, let's get into it. What is credit? So there's 4 different types of credit. There's revolving, installment, open, and commercial. Commercial's kind of off to the side because that's a whole different ballpark in and of itself. But the primary 3 that we're going to be concerned about for this video is revolving, installment, and open. So as you can see below them, I have examples of each type. Revolving is things like credit cards that carry over balance to the next month. It's not always a defined payment amount. HELOCs are home equity lines of credit. So unless you have a house, you don't really have to worry about that. But if you do have a house, you can pull out a line of credit against your house and mortgage and equity. And that's a little bit more of a advanced thing. I've not gotten there myself, but one day. Anyways, installments are things like mortgages, auto loans, student loans, personal loans. Payment's always the same. It's over a set duration, set interest rate, and yeah, pretty simple. Open is things like electric, water, phone, and charge cards. Charge cards are, if you don't know, basically credit cards that you pay off the entire balance every month. You don't carry over a balance. So electric, water, and phone are also considered open because you opening a line of credit for, say, your phone. Like you have a line of credit for that 30 days, and then whatever your phone payment is, $100, you pay that line of credit and your balance resets for the month. So that's what open would be considered. My jaw started getting tired sitting like that for some reason. So anyways, the fuck do you need credit for? It seems like a lot of people actually don't know this, which is interesting, but you need credit for a lot. Even if you intend to be rich, having the ability to leverage OPM is priceless. So I'm gonna just go from top to bottom. Lower interest rates on all loans, pretty much. Auto loans, mortgages, like personal loans, credit cards. Lower interest rate on everything, which may not sound like a big deal, and it may not look like a big deal on paper, but trust, it adds up. Numero dos, like I had just said, the ability to leverage OPM. OPM is other people's money. That is, as I had said, priceless. That's being able to get a mortgage. That's using other people's money. Being able to get a car loan. That's using other people's money. Being able to use a credit card. That's using other people's money. And you can leverage certain, how do you say, certain avenues of OPM to be good debt. And we'll get into good and bad debt in the budgeting rundown, but yeah, just keep that in mind for now. Insurance premiums, believe it or not, insurance does take your credit into consideration, so you could get lower insurance premiums. Access to certain jobs. A lot of people don't know this one too, but I work as a cybersecurity analyst, and every time I get a job, which has been like twice so far, they do a credit check. Because if I have a low credit score, chances are I have bad financial habits, and somebody could probably easily come up to me and bribe me, and I have access to a lot of important things, so that's no bueno. So certain jobs will require you to have a certain credit score. And then if you want a house like ever, you're going to need at least, to my knowledge, the like lowest credit score you could possibly have to be able to secure any type of mortgage is like a 680. And I know a lot of people that are not at a 680. So if you want a house ever, get it together. How does credit work? So it ranges from 300 to 850. Like I said, minimum you'll probably want to ever have like a hope of getting a mortgage. I feel like I can't talk even though I'm talking right. It's weird. But the minimum you'll ever want to have a hope of getting a mortgage is a 680. But good is above a 700, preferably 720. Some say 750. If you're at an 800, that's like really good. But anyways, so there's a couple of different factors that go into your credit score. There's your payment history, your utilization, which I'll explain a little bit more here in a second, history, the number of inquiries, which I'll also elaborate on, and the credit types, which is what we had just talked about here. So payment history, obviously, I mean, that's pretty self-explanatory. Pay things on time, don't pay late, don't miss payments, and you'll be good there. That's the biggest factor, as you can imagine. Utilization is number 2. So I'm not exactly sure, to be honest, how this would apply in terms of like a mortgage and whatnot, because you don't really have a utilization rate for a mortgage, but I do know it applies to revolving accounts like credit cards, where if you have a limit of $1,000, like a credit limit of $1,000, you don't want to surpass 30% utilization. So you wouldn't want to pass a $300 balance on that card before it starts to negatively impact your credit score. Okay, actually, that's totally not what this was there to signify. That was there to signify that it's 30% like weight into your score. But also, okay, I jumped like ahead. We'll get into the utilization elaboration later, actually. But utilization has a 30% weight. Your credit history, so like I probably should have rephrased that. This should be age. Your credit age, not history. There's really not much you can do about this. You can get added as like an authorized user on somebody whose card has been open for a while, but I mean, you really can't rush age. So the number of inquiries is 10%. That is every time you like go and apply for essentially a line of credit, you receive an inquiry. And you don't want to have too many of these. These do fall off after, I think it's 2 years. But as you see, it's only a 10% weight, so it's not like the end of the world. And then category 5 is credit types, which, like I said, is up here, and it's a 10% weight. That one's interesting because it's like you don't really want to rush into having like an installment. Like you don't want to rush into a mortgage. You don't want to rush into an auto loan. You may already conveniently have a student loan, and you don't really want to rush into a personal loan if you don't need to. So I wouldn't rush to satisfy this category. Just kind of let it happen. And then, yeah, so all of these combine to, how do you calculate your score, I guess you could say. And then I have these over here to the side. These are the 3 credit bureaus: Experian, Equifax, and TransUnion. They all kind of calculate your credit score differently. So when you pull your credit report from each one of these various agencies, there will probably be like a discrepancy between them. And there's also probably going to be some minor discrepancies in things like your loan information, your personal information, address, work history, whatever. So that is why there might be inconsistencies there. So now that I've sold you on improving your life, how can you improve your life with minimal effort starting today? Well, you can open a starter credit card if you're above 18. You can have a secured credit card, which basically means like you give the bank $500 and they give you a credit card for $500 and you still got to pay it back, treat it like a normal credit card, whatever. But you're able to get higher limits than you would probably otherwise be approved for. So there's that. You can, like I had said earlier, become an authorized user. This assists with adding credit age, and that can be pretty helpful. But warning right here, not a good idea if whoever you're being added as an authorized user to their card has a bad credit score or just bad like financial habits. Not a good idea. And also, if you have bad financial habits, you could take them down with you too. So also not a good idea. But assuming you can work past those, being an authorized user is a very powerful method and technique, if you want to call it that. Anyways, number 3, you can always apply for a small loan or a credit builder loan or get a secured loan, which is essentially the same thing as a secured credit card. You give the bank the amount of money you want to loan against and you treat it like a normal loan. However, it's not just like free money. You need to maintain it. You need to make payments on time. Like I had said, keep your utilization low. Use less than 30% of your available credit on your credit cards. Maintain older credit accounts. A lot of people like close cards they don't use. Don't do that. Just don't use it, or use it once every blue moon just to keep it active, and just let it sit there because it's adding age to your accounts, or I mean your credit score. So yeah, definitely don't be just like frivolously closing cards for no reason. Make your payments on time. I don't know how I got that in there twice. Well, I mean, you know what? I'll leave it in there because emphasis on the make your payments on time. That's you really don't want to miss a payment. Limit your credit inquiries. You don't want to have too many inquiries on your report. That's kind of like it's like there being a public record of you going around and like asking people for money. Just doesn't really look great. And you'll want to diversify your credit types, like I'd said, but don't go like too far out of your way to make that happen. Like just kind of let it happen with life, and make sure you're ready to take on, especially some of those installments. Those are generally pretty hefty payments, mortgages and auto loans. So just make sure you're ready and able to maintain the responsibility of making those payments on time. And yeah. Also, check your credit report. It's free. There's no reason not to. Here, as you can see, 3 reasons why. There are errors. You can track your credit score, and if you're ever a victim of fraud, you like, I have I want to say it's NerdWallet, but like literally 15 minutes after there's an inquiry on my credit report, like I get an email. It's crazy. So definitely would recommend that. Again, it's free. If you don't do it, you didn't hear it from me, but you're dumb. In section 5, don't believe everything you hear. Checking your credit report does not hurt your credit score. You don't need to carry a balance to build credit. You can literally have your balance at 0 and just like swipe the card once a month for gas and be good. Another myth, earlier that I had kind of touched on earlier is that all debt is bad. Some debt, like mortgages or student loans, can be considered good. Personally, I wouldn't consider student loans good, but mortgages can be good because you can turn them into rental properties. Again, we'll touch on that in the budgeting rundown, but keep that in mind. And also, keep bad debt in mind. Stay away. And then clarifying some misconceptions. As I had touched on earlier, closing old accounts does not improve your credit score. Your income does not affect your credit score. And you do not only have one credit score. Like I had said, there's the 3 credit bureaus, and there's going to be a little bit of deviation between them and inconsistencies between them. So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's the end. No, it's not. How can I do my own credit research? That's what that's supposed to be. And DYOR is do your own research. YouTube, there's a lot of great resources on YouTube. Like I had said, NerdWallet, which is what I get the credit monitoring notifications on and check my credit report on, and like a lot of stuff on. Totally free. ChatGPT, you can always ask questions if for whatever reason Google or Reddit or YouTube or NerdWallet doesn't have your answer. But take that with a grain of salt, because ChatGPT like bugs out sometimes, so you gotta watch it. And of course, Google, but make sure you fact check your sources. Don't just like read something somewhere and take somebody's word for it. Verify it with multiple sources and then some. Like certain things, particularly mortgages, it really depends on the area that you're in, because there's a lot of like local laws and regulations and this, that, and the other. So depending on what it is, you're going to have to be able to find tailored information to suit your case. So just make sure you do your research. All right. So that is all I have. That is the credit rundown. If y'all got questions, drop them in the comments. Let me know if y'all need a rundown over anything else. I'll see what I can do. And with that being said, let's go